Hey YouTube, my name is Gawd, and you're watching Gawd Cafe. So today we're going to make a video on Mars in the 11th house. So, Mars is the planet of action, determination, sex drive. This is where our fighting fuel comes from, Mars. So Mars is a very, very crucial planet to pay attention to within your chart. And if you have it in the 11th house, this video is for you. So the 11th house, let me step back real quick. So Mars, the reason why it's crucial is because, it's a planet of action. It's a planet of war. It's a planet of your drive, your motivation, fuel, it's that energy that goes behind what makes you itch to do something. So that's Mars for you. Now, if you have it in the 11th house resembles the collective. It's the house of the Aquarius. It is ran by Uranus and Saturn. So the 11th house is, governed by those two planets. So when you have Mars in the 11th, it does pretty well. It does pretty well here. Now, Mars in the 11th, being that the 11th house has to do with the collective, individuality, your connection to people, right? The world, right? I would call this the world stage, the public eye, right? That's the 11th house. So Mars in the 11th. Having Mars here, depending on the sign, but let's say you have Mars here in any sign, Mars period in this house does really well in communities, in big environments, takes action amongst a lot, amongst communities, or desires to take action towards community work on big levels and local levels, if it's just local area or on the grand scheme of things, right? So having Mars in the 11th is pretty, will make you a lot more extroverted than your average person, being that your fuel comes from other people. So not that you are, not that you desperately need other people. It's that perhaps, you get a motivational drive of fuel when being with a group of people. So, whether you take action right away with the people, it really does depend on your sign. Because let's say you have this Mars in Cancer in the 11th, you might be a lot more pulled back with the extrovertedness and more so very considerate of people before taking action, right? So, and then if you was to have Aries and Mars in the 11th, you wouldn't really dwell as much. You would be a lot more impulsive with the action. So you would find yourself more extroverted and perhaps utilizing people to fuel things. Or, you may be someone who's like, you know what? You could do this. You could do this. We want everybody to come, so it's very like, you know what? F it, let's have everybody do it with us. It's a beautiful energy. I love it. The only thing I would say, for the sake of your disappointment and not to get disappointed, is to not feel offended perhaps when people don't want to do the group activities that you want to do. Or, despite that it's coming from a beautiful place and how you're perceiving it is beautiful, despite that, understand that not everyone has your perspective to see the beauty and the unity that you do. So, you see the beauty that everyone can play a role, and maybe perhaps, you would make a great manager with this placement, because you would know how every piece of the puzzle needs to be nurtured. It needs to be nurtured in order for it to fit in the big puzzle and the big scheme of things. So you're more so perhaps, excited about the togetherness of everyone. And if it's not hyper-focused that, you're that concerned about people, then you are studying how people react to you and using that to fuel yourself or to mold yourself into the person you want to be. And in turn, that will motivate you to take action. So Mars in the 11th, I think it's a great placement. It's actually, you know, you guys take a lot of forefront action. You know, a lot of the action you have to take affects so many people because it's the 11th house. So even if you are a person that's a lot more passive, and most of this video hasn't fully been resonating, but part of it is, if let's say you were more passive overall with your energy, right, more feminine energy overall in your chart, and you have Mars in the 11th, you most likely will be someone to, you know, not maybe take fast action, but more calculated action, more working smarter than harder, for the sake of the people, for the sake of impressing the people, but it does surround itself for the people, you know, for the most part. Now, let's say you have a more assertive, active, masculine energy, and you have Mars in the 11th. You would, you know, like I said a little earlier, you know, take advantage of the spontaneity within, you know, with what life brings you and the people in it. So, you know, you're the type of person to really maximize off of opportunity, because, you know, you're able to intellectualize it. I can't say that word. Into, you know, like what the necessary steps are, because I do feel like a Mars in this house is like an honorary Aquarius, Mars in Aquarius, being that the house is Aquarius, and you have Mars here. So being, you know, Mars in Aquarius in turns is a lot more calculative with its action, and being that Aquarius is also ruled by Capricorn and Mars is exalted in Capricorn, but the ruling planet of Saturn present in this house as well makes it so that the action you take is extremely effective, while also being a smart choice, because it's Uranus. It's going to intellectualize its next move. Is there anything else about you, Mars in the 11th? Trying to think if there's any like intuitive gifts that Mars in 11th would like receive. Okay, so Mars in 11th can innately know what the collective desires are. Being that Mars is also the planet of desire as well. It's what you want, it's what you lust for, right? That's Mars. So Mars in the 11th, it's like you're able to tap into what the collective wants, needs, and maybe you get fueled and take action with this knowledge, this intuitive knowledge that you receive. That's pretty much it, guys. Anyway, my name is Gawd. You're watching Gawd Cafe, and until next time.